my wife is a stay-at-home mom of two little girls. We've got one that's 4 and one that's 8 months old. And I am working. So when I get home, right now I'm driving an hour away to work. So then when I get home, I know that she's overwhelmed with an 8-month-old who's teething and a 4-year-old, just being a 4-year-old, she's excited. She's happy. She's great. But she's can be overwhelming sometimes. And just when I get home, I try to help my wife out as much as I can, because I know that, her being a stay-at-home mom is a very important job. And I know it's probably more work than a lot of us do in our lives than we all would like to admit. And so I try to help out as much as I can. But sometimes when I do try to help out, she just turns me down or shuts me down and just kind of pushes me away from me trying to help her. So my question is, in what ways can I try to help her?
That's a great question, man. And kudos to you for being a dad who wants to be plugged in. That's awesome. And a husband who wants to be plugged in. I guess my first question, whenever I talk to guys who want to help at home, is, does anybody want and or need your help? Or for most men, help is the only way we've ever been socialized to have permission to be in relationship with somebody. Meaning, our just being is never enough. The thought of coming in and just holding one of the kids or wrestling with the 4-year-old or just sitting with wife and chit-chatting while she goes on doing whatever she was already doing, we're not allowed to do that. We have to be doing a thing so that we have some sort of utility, so that we have any value or permission to be in any room whatsoever. So my question to you is, are you feeling a sense of purposelessness, or like they don't even need me around here? Or are you watching your wife crumble around you and she feels guilty and doesn't want to ask you for support? Or maybe a combination of all of that?
I think it's a little bit of a combination of all of that, plus a little bit of background. I was raised by my mother, and she was raised by her father. So when it comes to our mentality, I say unfortunately, but I've got a very feminine mentality, I guess you can say. And then she's got a very masculine mentality because of just by who we were raised by. So
tell me what that means in real life.
So let's say emotionally, if we're in an argument or I'm the one who shuts down and I'm the one who takes everything to heart rather than, it sounds wrong, but like a girl would, like a woman would, where they would take things to heart more than, trying to logically do things. And I can say I am a very logical person as it is, but I still have kind of a very, I guess I want to say feminine mentality. But when I do try to come in and help and she turns me down, I get really butthurt.
Yeah.
And I know that we've had conversations before where she's just like, it really makes me upset when you ask me she says, when I ask her that I want to help her and I shut her down, and then I'm just standing there kind of staring at her, and she's just all like, it really makes me upset when you just stand there and stare at me. And I'm just like, I just want to help, but I don't know what to help with, how I can help in a helpful way, I guess you can say.
Yeah.
Because I want to take things off her plate. Because I know at home, and then also another factor on top of it, we aren't living in our own place right now. We're living with my mom. I've graduated school in May, so we moved in with my mom because while I was looking for a job, and there was a possibility that we were going to be moving from Austin to Dallas or Houston or somewhere. So we're like, well, let's get out of our apartment. Let's go live with my mom for a little while, and see where it takes us. And then we will move out of there to wherever we move. And in sense of doing that, my wife also has a sense of, what's the word, pressure to be a certain kind of mom,
Yes,
or a certain kind of wife,
yes,
because she's around my mom and stepdad. So
yes. Okay, so here's a couple of important things. Number one, starting effective immediately, starting today. These stories that you're telling yourself about feminine and masculine energies and all that, that nonsense is gone. Okay?
okay,
Because it's clouding. Listen, dude, like men feel things and women feel things. And some men shut down and some women go out swinging. That's not a definition of masculine or feminine energy. Okay? So that's just a story that you told yourself. That story ends today because it's prohibiting you from being the person that you want to be inside your own house, because you're couching it in as that something is wrong with you or it's some kind of not normal thing. It's very normal. Okay? What you just explained to me is a thing I hear from fathers over and over and over and over again, regardless of who they were raised by, okay? The second thing is you've identified a key issue, which is your wife is trying to create a home in a home that is not her home.
Right.
And so that usually stems from, there's just the geography, right? She's literally living in somebody else's home. But my guess is y'all haven't cleared the deck. And I say this all the time, that y'all are in a perfect season right now to leave the 4-year-old, leave the 8-month-old for half of a morning, and y'all go somewhere and exhale and remember that you like each other. And then say out loud, we have a brand new marriage. We have a new kid. I've graduated. I want us to get out of my mom's house. You want us to get out of our mom's house. We get to create a brand new marriage starting right now. What do we want this thing to look like? And more importantly, what do we want it to feel like? What does peace look like for us? And I can't think of anything more exhausting than being a stay-at-home mom alone. Loneliness is the killer, right?
Yes. Right.
And when you're lonely and you're performing, dude, forget it, man. That's when you're trying to sing and dance and in front of a stage, like for her mother-in-law and some father-in-law, right? I mean, that's so much. And so backing all the way out and saying, okay, what kind of world do we want to co-create? And there's a math problem to this. How quickly can we get into an apartment? How quickly can we get into our own place? Are you stable in your new job? This is going to be where we are. And I just moved a family member into Austin. It's expensive, but there's some cool places, and prices are falling quickly in Austin too, by the way. Like, is there a place where we can start settling up and begin to create the home that we want to create? And by the way, what are 2 or 3 mornings a week you can get away? And we're going to put some money on the table so we have a babysitter, or we've got a Mother's Day out. We've got something so that you can get some adult grown-up women friends, because this is a very lonely endeavor. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. You could try to solve this piece by piece by piece, and y'all gonna end up just burning each other at both ends. Versus clearing the deck and saying, dude, we made it. I graduated, we sucked it up, and we lived with my mom to save some cash. You're an amazing mom. I'm doing the best I can as a dad. Let's Control-Alt-Delete. Where do we want our lives to go from here forward? Okay. And you'll have this conversation again when first kid goes to school. And you'll have this conversation when second kid goes to school.
Well, that's another thing that's on top of that. We're wanting to homeschool. So on top of being a stay-at-home mom and everything else, she's also trying to, our 4-year-old's starting preschool this year. So she's also trying to homeschool on top of that. So I know she's got a lot on her plate, and she's such an amazing woman, an amazing mom, that for her to even want to do this. And I know I've been asked, does she want to be a stay-at-home mom? Yes, this has been her dream. She's been telling me about this since high school. We were high school sweethearts. So awesome. She's been telling me this since high school, that she's wanted to be a mom, and this is what she wants to do. So I wanted to give her that by me going to work and her getting to stay home. And I know on top of everything else, I had a heart transplant 2 years ago, so I know things have been even harder.
Yeah. So there's a lot there, and getting away from the kids for half of a morning or for a whole day would be even better.
Okay.
Because you literally have hey, I'm still alive. We made it. And often couples will find themselves still in fight or flight for something that happened 2-3 years ago. The NICU stay, the sudden mom got cancer, the husband needs a new heart, for God's sakes, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
right.
we can really, really want things, but we don't always get them right this second. Meaning, hey, it's going to take us 2 years to get where we can fully start the homeschool and have our own place and be totally ready to go. So what if we started right now planning, kids going to go to preschool, kids going to go to kindergarten, at a public school, at a local little Christian school, whatever you want to do, and then starting in first grade, we're going to have saved up enough margin, we're going to have our own place, you're going to have been able to exhale, you're not going to have an 8-month-old that is just a bundle of nerves that just wants to eat and scream and poop and sleep on repeat, right? I'm going to be settled in my job. We're going to be in a different universe then. Instead of, we have to do it all right this second. And I want to stay at home, but so I have to do this stuff. I got a new heart. But you get what I'm saying? It just becomes the expectations of each other starts to pile up. And I don't want to change the story. I've been saying this since I was in high school, but I don't even know if I want to do this anymore, but I have to do it. And let's clear the deck. Hold each other's hands across the table and say, dude, I'm so glad I married you. Still like you. Let's build a new marriage starting today. What does that look like? Who do we want to be? And I like couples to look 5 years out. I know that's ridiculous because who knows what the world's going to look like in 5 years. But I like couples to say, okay, in a perfect world, what would that look like? I'm homeschooling this amazing, beautiful 4th grader. And we also have a 1st grader now that I'm homeschooling. And you're making this much money, and we've saved up enough money to buy a down payment. All right, to buy a house. How much would we have had to save over that time? That means we're going to have to drive this stupid Corolla for 5 more years, right? All those things just get put on the table. And there's some grief, there's some happiness, there's some sadness, there's some all of that together. And then asking that question, not in the moment. When you bust in the door after you've been at work all day and your wife's covered in vomit, holding a kid with a dirty diaper, and you have a 4-year-old just going, ah, and a mother-in-law with her arms crossed, and a podcast on how to homeschool in your wife's ears, and you're like, how can I help? What can I do? Man, sometimes it's easier for you just to not be there so she can it's easier for her just to do it than to stop and teach you and feel like she has a 3rd kid. If y'all get away once a week, even for an hour, say, how can I love you this week? She can say, okay, I could really use help here and here. But when you wash the bottles, you always do it like this. I want it like this. Cool, got it. You busting in the house and saying, all right, give me a job. It's just like you become a 3rd kid. So when you bust in the house, the greatest thing is to grab that 4-year-old and you'll head out to the park for 45 minutes. And just let me exhale, right? But getting out of the heat of the moment. And then you, my brother, work on your triggered responses. I just want to pull away. I just want to stand there and look at her and feel hurt. We're not going to do that anymore. That's how we handled problems when we were a kid. That kept us safe as a kid. We're not doing that anymore. When we feel like we want to pull away, that's when we're going to lean in. We're going to go find a thing to help with. Maybe that's just taking the trash out. Maybe that's just getting a Clorox wipe and cleaning up the nursery. Taking all the dirty diapers out and taking them out to the trash. Like whatever that is. But I'm going to have a checklist of things I'm just going to run through, and that way my wife doesn't feel like she has a 3rd kid getting home from work every day. But all that can be talked about at a table where you're holding hands and saying, dude, it's so good to see you. I got a new heart. We have new kids. We got a brand new marriage, and I want to build it with you. Are you in also? And man, what an amazing conversation that can be. Thanks for the call, my brother. I'm going to send you a copy of Building a Non-Anxious Life. I want y'all to use that as a roadmap for this conversation. I have a feeling that particular book and that particular roadmap is going to be a blessing for you and your family.